Hi everybody, my name is Michaela Schick and this is my Module 11 presentation. I apologize, Screencast-O-Matic doesn't work for me, so I have to do that at the beginning of every presentation. So this will be all about gift-giving guidelines. So the first area that we're going to discuss the guidelines for is student gifts. So there are two main types of student gifts that were discussed in our text. The first is fundraising rewards. Fundraising rewards are something that I remember getting as a kid. So when you sell a certain amount of merchandise for your school or you raise a certain amount of money for your school, you get some sort of reward, and that could be a physical reward from your school. And then the second is achievement awards, which are given to students who perform exceptionally, often in academics or athletics, and get some sort of merit-based award for their achievements. So again, student fundraising rewards are given to students who participate in these fundraisers and achieve a certain level of participation. The guidelines for these kinds of gifts, I guess I should say, are pretty simple. So first, they need to be age-appropriate gifts, so we don't want to be giving students anything that isn't appropriate for their age group. And then the second is that principals or fundraising sponsors should be purchasing these gifts using the fundraiser profits. So these gifts will be purchased not from the general student fund or not from really a student activity fund, but from the profits themselves. But you also don't want to jeopardize the fundraiser that you are currently conducting. You want to make sure that you have a successful fundraiser, so you don't want to use too much of the profits on these gifts. The book suggested that maybe less than 5% of your profits should be used towards gifts. The second type, again, is achievement awards. So again, these are the ones that are given to the exceptionally performing students. The guidelines for this are also relatively simple. Again, we want to be age appropriate, and these gifts should also not be very expensive. These gifts should be funded through donations whenever possible. So if you can get a local business to donate gift cards or free ice cream coupons or something like that, or if you could get your PTA to donate some sort of reward, certificate, or trophy. But you can also use general school funds or general athletic funds, just because these are either co-curricular activities or curricular activities that you're giving merit-based awards for. Staff gifts. So staff gifts can include three different types of rewards. So fundraising rewards, so similar to the way the students get gifts if they reach a certain level of a fundraiser, staff could also be given certain gifts. You could have whole staff gifts, which are given more so as like a teacher appreciation gift, usually at either the beginning of the school year, the end of the school year, or during Teacher Appreciation Week. And then we also have special occasion gifts that are given to staff. So these are kind of morale gifts that are given, say somebody's getting married or having a child, or as some sort of condolence if someone had lost a family member. So the first, again, is fundraising rewards, and these are pretty much the same guidelines as student awards. Obviously, you don't need to worry about things being age-appropriate with staff, but they also should be school-appropriate. Like, obviously, you don't want to be giving staff alcohol or something like that as a fundraising reward, but you do want to make sure that, again, you're not eating into too much of your fundraising profits in order to give out these awards. The second is staff appreciation gifts. So these are something that would be given to every member of your staff, often on like an annual basis, like I said. These are personal gifts, so they're not classroom items. So you're not giving away expo markers or notebook paper or binders or something that teachers would be using in their classroom. These would be something that teachers would personally own, and if they were to leave the school, they would take with them if they were leaving. And so these are going to be purchased using funds raised through staff fundraisers. So if the staff did a collection for social dues, or if the staff collected a fundraiser for themselves, they did a donut sale to raise money for the staff or something like that, that's what these gifts would be funded through. Some districts do allow small gifts, which would be around $5 or less, to be purchased with general district funding. But principals need to be really cautious in this area, just because you don't want any charges that you're using funds improperly or using funds for things that they don't need to be spent on. I looked in KCK's policy and I couldn't find anywhere where it was prohibited that school funds were used on staff, but I also could not find anywhere where it was allowed that school funds would be used on staff. The final area of staff gift would be special occasion gifts. So these are given to, again, specific staff members, on some kind of either momentous or tragic occasion. So purchasing these gifts, you would use the Staff Remembrance Fund. We at my elementary school call this our social fund. So we all pay social dues every year. I think they're around $20 a person. And we use that to purchase cards for anyone who is having a really rough time or has lost a family member. We also use it to throw baby showers or wedding showers if we have any staff members who are in those life situations. So it's just kind of something that sometimes birthday celebrations as well. So just something that the staff pays for, we support, and then again is used back on us as the staff. The guidelines for remembrance funds should be set, so there should be spending limits. You shouldn't be spending $200 on one person and $20 on the next. Should be fairly consistent from person to person. And then also these gifts should be purchased by a committee rather than just one individual person. This kind of helps just ensure that there's no fraud going on, and it also just helps to ensure that people feel involved and feel like their money is going towards something useful. So I also included just some general tips and guidelines that all schools want to follow. So gifts should always be minimal in value. So you don't want to eat up your fundraising profits. You don't want to just do anything too crazy expensive. So the reason for that is, one, you don't want to improperly use funds, but two, public impression is important here. So this is actually happening right now in Kansas City. There's a school district that's giving out attendance awards, and they're like a couple $100s, I think, to students. And some people are saying that's an improper use of district funding. So that's a current debate that's going on in one of the Kansas City districts right now. So public impression on funding for gifts is definitely something that principals need to be aware of when they're deciding what gifts they'd like to give. Gifts should also always be age appropriate, obviously, when they're students, and school appropriate, no matter who they're being given to. So you don't want to encourage anything that your school shouldn't be supporting. And then try to avoid giving staff gifts that could be considered monetary value. So that could either be cash gifts, or it could also be like gift certificates or something that would be redeemed for cash. These would have to be included in your staff's wages, and you don't want your staff being taxed on something that you meant as a gift. So you have to be careful to buy tangible gifts rather than monetary gifts for your staff. If a staff member is like going through a major illness or has some really tragic family event where you want to do like a collection for the staff member, the best way to do that, according to the text, is to go through like a PTA group, so that when the money is collected and distributed to that staff member, it's not considered wages and it's not taxed like the rest of their wages from the district would be. All right, that's pretty much it. My only text that I used this time was the textbook because KCK didn't have any policies that were really relevant to this. Thank you so much for your time.